You want to know one of the things that annoys me so much that I just roll my eyes so far back that I can see my own skull? Is when people say that child and teenage protagonists are just too good. They're too capable. They suck because they're unrelatable. Done. Bye. No. Guess what? You need those capable teens and kids in your stories. Hi there, everyone. Welcome to another Writer's Rant, brought to you by Camille's Harem. Not just a podcast for novice writers by novice writers, but also a YouTube channel by novice writers for novice writers. Because writing is an adventure, it's more fun with friends. And yes, you want to have capable young protagonists. If you're going to write young characters, they need to have skills to their name. They need to be able to actually do stuff. I want you to take a brief moment right here and picture this. Honestly, picture this. Look around at the youth of today, whether they be your peers or you're older and you're looking at kids on the block. Maybe you work with kids. Honestly, take some time and ask yourself, okay, if I were to pluck these children and put them into a fantasy setting or into a sci-fi setting or maybe into a setting that they're just not used to, how long would it take before they cry uncle and just shut down? If your answer is that most of them probably would not last a day or 48 hours, in fact, if they can't survive 72 hours, chances are that those kids are not capable enough for whatever story you are planning. Heroes, protagonists, villains even, need to be capable. Now, this is where things get a little bit tricky, because if anime, and especially isekai anime, have shown anything to us, it is very, very possible to have an overpowered protagonist who is just too good at everything, and honestly, that just removes all of the stakes, removes the tension, it's wish fulfillment, and it's bad wish fulfillment. No, what you want is you want struggle, but you want struggle with characters who are competent. You don't want them to just be steamrolled, and you want it to be believable. Let's say, for instance, you take a 13-year-old and you put a 13-year-old into another world. Well, a 13-year-old's going to make a lot of mistakes. A 13-year-old's not going to understand everything that's going on, let alone probably how they got there in the first place. And so it's very likely that said 13-year-old is going to get steamrolled by your fantasy world. But what if your 13-year-old happened to have a father or an uncle who is super prepared, loves survival shows, and takes them camping every weekend, and does all different kinds of crazy things, shows them how to survive off the land? Well, they would be able to survive for a little while until they meet with the allies within the story who are going to help them adjust to what is going on and now finally really become integrated with the rest of the plot and the rest of the characters, so on and so forth. A really good example of how this could be done is in Brandon Moule's Beyonders series. The two main characters, Jason and Rachel, are very young, and it's very clear that their youth does get in the way. They are very capable of making stupid choices, of being deceived. They're not always the strongest or the most capable, but what they do know helps them out a long way. They either know how to lie, so they sound super convincing. Jason is able to use his baseball skills to knock out a guy in the middle of a duel. Rachel's able to use her smarts in order to save herself in a very tricky puzzle situation. And also Jason's stupid little knowledge about the word strengths helps him to take down a powerful villain. And I know it sounds super silly and everything right there, but if an author is able to take the strengths that they give to their characters and apply them to some interesting situations, the characters come off as capable, but still also as flawed, and that they do indeed have struggles. Seriously, if you want a great series about young, capable characters and a really crazy situation, I cannot recommend Beyonders by Brandon Moule highly enough. It is an incredible series. Now, let's get into why this is something that does bother me, that people don't like this right here. Well, as I've already brought up with isekai anime and the likes, it is very easy to make characters too capable. But also there's a lot of people who are like, well, when I was a kid, I didn't know these things. Or I look at other kids right now, they don't know these things. Therefore, this is unrealistic. I can't suspend my disbelief. This is all just bad. Why would you write this? Well, look, here's the thing. you need to let your characters not only be capable, but you do need to give your characters something a little special right here. Remember, once again, if you take any rando kid off the street, chances are they probably aren't going to do too well in a fantasy or a sci-fi setting. Instead, you want to give these characters, once again, quirks, traits, knowledge, abilities that do give them a leg up in certain, not all, but certain situations, so that way they can be good at some things and not good at other things. This gives them room to grow. But another thing here is this. Most readers, most of the audience already know that they are not capable of surviving in some crazy sci-fi or fantasy setting. And really, that's kind of the point. We want to see heroes rise. And heroes rise by having something special about them. And that can be, once again, an ability, a mindset, a skill, a certain trait, a quirk, whatever it is that's necessary to help this person rise from the mire and the muck to become the hero that the story needs them to be. Now, this does come down to good characterization, good plotting, all these different elements of really just writing all around a good character, but we do want to see a hero rise, and heroes have something special about them. So that's honestly why it's okay to have a very capable 13-year-old, or very capable 16-year-old, or a very capable 19-year-old. In fact, there are some situations that honestly, you need to be like well into your years as an adult to fully comprehend them, and we yet throw teenagers and young adults into these situations, and we help them as the authors to overcome problems and rise and become the heroes that they're supposed to be. People want to see that. They want to see that struggle, and they want to see that victory, which is why we should have these kinds of characters. Now, speaking for myself personally, because this is something that I have thought a lot about, and yeah, it can sometimes come off as a little corny when a 12 or 13-year-old is suddenly just awesome when compared to all of these adults and everything. Once again, look at anime to realize it's a little bit silly when a 13, 14, or 15-year-old suddenly is able to take on the world of the adults because of some special power that they have or some sort of special training, and boom, they're just suddenly better than everyone else. Yeah, it can be really fun to watch, but sometimes it is just a little too ridiculous. Which is why, for myself, because I do like writing young protagonists, instead I put my protagonist somewhere between 16 and 19 years old. Because the older teenagers have had just a little bit more experience, it would make a little bit more sense that they would know a little bit more, are capable of a little bit more, have a little wider skill set. And so then I can have more fun and not be worrying that someone's going to be all like, no kid would ever know how to do that. Now, shut up. The kids can do incredible things. I agree with Alex Hirsch that we don't give kids enough credit for how smart and capable they are. And I think, once again, it's one of the reasons why we as authors should take some time to show very capable young protagonists. To show that, yeah, there are people like you, or someone that you could become, who is capable of doing amazing things because they have cultivated skills and knowledge. It's not just that they are the chosen hero, but that they have relatable qualities that make them the hero. And I think that that is the key to what I'm really talking about here. Make your characters relatable, make them capable, and give them the chance to be a hero through the struggle. If you do that, it will be great. Now then, we can get deeper into the semantics of, okay, well, what is a kid capable of? What is a kid not capable of? Well, once again, try it out for yourself. Hang around with some kids. Look at what kids are doing. Read some good books with some young protagonists. Once again, really check out the works by Brandon Mull. He does a fantastic job in this realm. And I think you will learn some incredible things that you could put into your own stories. So, that's all I've got for right now. Otherwise, I'm just going to keep on rambling, and no one really enjoys that. So, let's wrap this up right here. If you'd like to have more writing advice, please go check out our podcast, Camille's Harem, found on iPod, Spotify, Google Play, the works. We also have writing challenges for you over our Pinterest page, and you can join us over at our Discord server, where we work together with other authors to support each other and check in on each other's works, help us to realize our goals of being authors. And thank you so much for joining us on this adventure that we call writing, And until the next video, y'all, choose.